My previous video described cogito ergo sum as the first knowledge, which was defined as the only justified information. That's certainly true. Descartes did not use this first certainty, the cogito, as a foundation upon which to build further knowledge. But that's what we will try to do now. Ancient Greek philosopher Plato was the first to propose the classical analysis of knowledge, which defines knowledge as a justified true belief. This is known as the JTB theory of knowledge. A belief is any claim that you accept. A true belief is any claim you accept that corresponds to how things are in the world, and a justified true belief is a true belief that has proper evidence. In terms of necessary and sufficient conditions, all of these parts are necessary for knowledge, but none of them alone is sufficient to count as knowledge. For example, you may believe that aliens are real, but until your belief is justified and true, it is not knowledge. The problem: suppose you look outside the window one day and see a figure shoveling snow. You recognize the coat and silhouette and think, "Oh, my dad's shoveling snow." However, that person isn't actually your father, but your next-door neighbor. He owns the same winter jacket as your father and is a similar height. Yet, coincidentally, on the other side of the house, your father is in fact shoveling snow. Can you say that you knew your dad was shoveling snow? Explanation: in this situation, your belief that your dad was shoveling was justified. Your neighbor looks very similar to your dad, and it was true, your dad was, in fact, shoveling snow on the other side of the house, but you cannot say you knew that your dad was shoveling snow. This example is what is known as a Gettier problem. The Gettier problem is named after American philosopher Edmund Gettier, who in 1963 presented two famous counterexamples to the JTB account of knowledge. A Gettier problem is any example that demonstrates that an individual can satisfy the classical analysis of knowledge, justified true belief, without possessing knowledge. Gettier problems arise when there exists a relapse in the relationship between justification and truth. You are justified in believing your dad is shoveling snow because you see someone who strongly resembles him outside. However, the truth of your belief is not connected to what you see. It is only coincidentally true. Philosophers have tried endlessly to adapt and revise the classical theory of knowledge to avoid the Gettier problem, often by attempting to find the fourth condition of knowledge to add to the JTB theory. One of the simplest solutions is the no false beliefs condition. This account adds an addendum that knowledge cannot rest on any false beliefs. Therefore, your true justified belief that your dad is shoveling snow does not count as knowledge because it rests on the false belief that your neighbor is your dad. The issue with this solution is that there are cases of knowledge that do rest on false beliefs yet are knowledge all the same. For example, consider a detective who interrogates 10 people who say they are witnesses to a crime. However, one of these 10 people is lying. Therefore, when the detective concludes who committed the crime based on testimonial evidence, she will include a false belief that the one lying witness saw the crime. Yet, this single false belief does not invalidate the detective's knowledge because of the large body of truthful witnesses who also saw the crime. An account of knowledge should not become overly demanding, discrediting everyday intuitions in order to surmount the Gettier problem. The no false belief condition seems to go too far. There are problems in the common usage of each word to define knowledge, as follows. Justified. In many examples of problems identified in discussion about knowledge, the word justified is treated as a binary parameter. Some very weak justifications are often offered to claim knowledge, which in the end will be shown false just to show a problem. Hence the problem often found with this requirement is when we accept inadequate justifications. The adequacy of the justification should depend on the extraordinariness of the information. Extraordinary information requires extraordinary justification. True, many things that we were sure to be true, are eventually proven to be false. As mentioned by Descartes, we are prone to errors and deceptions. We cannot say that something is true without adequate justification. To say that something is true with certainty, we need extremely strong justifications with infinite accuracy and precision. It makes the requirement impractical, and often useless. Belief, Dictionary defines it as an acceptance that a statement is true or that something exists. While the statement is just a form of information, the acceptance implies some form of justification, even if the justification is irrational, such as based on indoctrination, intuition, instinct, feeling, and emotion. From the problems shown just now, it's evident that the trichotomy suffers the problem of overlapping and contradiction. While the true requirement implies infinitely strong justification, the justified requirement is often only loosely adhered, thus creates a contradiction. The belief requirement also overlaps with justified requirement. To solve this problem, knowledge can be redefined as adequately justified information. This would make the concept of knowledge more practical and useful. The adequacy requirement depends on the extraordinariness of the information. The knowledge should not be a binary value. We can have strong knowledge or weak knowledge based on the strength of the justification. Bayesian reasoning can be applied here. We will talk more on this in the next video.